Hello, everyone. This is Fluxcat. And honestly, to be fair, even though I did said last week, time of recording and uploading this, that I'll hold my thoughts until after Nintendo Direct, I feels like now will be a good time to kind of talk about my thoughts on how I feel right now with the Pokemon franchise as a whole. And I know this is a weird topic because the clarification this doesn't mean I'm gonna give up on Pokemon because honestly, everyone knows I deeply love Pokemon no matter what. However, I will admit there has been a few situations which makes me question if I should continue being part of the fandom in general, the states of the games, and so forth. Because, admittedly, and I know this is gonna sound a little bit weird or cliche. There has been a lot of, I wouldn't say negativity because that's way too extreme. More a lot of depression kind of thing. More like a depression kind of thing, because the state of Pokemon right now is kind of very iffy in terms of the actual video games and fan base, and neither is good. And also, before I truly just dumpster dive into this, I need to clarify. I know this is a tricky subject to talk about because, in fact, it's probably too much so because there's a lot that goes in all directions and stuff. I'm just going to flatly state this because this is sort of the point I also want to get out. If you still love the Pokemon franchise, good for you. Because literally, that's the thing. I still love the Pokemon franchise no matter what. Despite these bitterly depressing thoughts and stuff that's going on with the series, honestly, I still believe you could still love what you love, even if you don't go the way the fandom goes, or if you're not like in support of a game that is released in the series or something like that. And it doesn't have to be video games. My point I'm trying to get across, which I admit is getting sloppy, is you are allowed to like things, as long as it's not causing chaos, of course, but you are allowed to like things. And even if things do of that certain series do get very dark or negative or depressing, just look at the positives. And trust me, Pokemon does have a lot of unique positives. Heck, I'm actually am willing to admit the reason why I was trying to hold off of this video was because I am pumped up with upcoming Pokemon ZA, which I really am because it looks pretty good right now. Definitely looking like a good improvement. Um, but that does lead into some, a little bit of problems. Like I said, there's two parts to this. The first one is the games themselves and what's been going on. And honestly, I can't deny this anymore. To be fair, I have stopped denying this kind of way back when Scarlet and Violet came out, and more so over Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl. But there has been a dip in quality with Pokemon. I will argue that for me, at least, it didn't happen with Sword and Shield. But I will defend those who think that way because honestly, Sword and Shield did have a little bit of few problems. However, it really did plummeted when Scarlet and Violet came out. And to clarify, that doesn't mean they're bad games. Far from it. It actually has a great story. The Pokemon are pretty well done, honestly. Um, yeah, there's a lot of good positives to say the least. Although I will say the Indigo Disc is left to be desired, of course, towards that ending, but it's not that bad of an ending. But I can't deny that the story isn't the issue, it's the qualities of these games. And basically, I know what many are going to say, and I would have blamed them for this. It's like the old Sayo to the point where it's just a running thing that many people say, and that is the fact that they'll be saying, Pokemon should be rushing this, and they're only doing this because of the whole um the because of the whole merchandising thing. And to be frank, that is true. I mean, they can kind of hold off for a while and give themselves a break, honestly. But I feel like the video game industry will never do that. I mean, to be fair, we are seeing a very total collapse with the video game industry as a whole right now, even outside of Nintendo, especially what happened with recent Microsoft. If you've seen that horror show that's happening right now, which is like, ooh, that is a very thing. And it really does suck because really the thing is, if they can only just take their time and actually release a very good product, they can. I mean, it's even worse because right now Game Freak is justifiably getting their butts on fire or getting called out because they have an upcoming game, which, by the way, I do not know the name of the game, so you can shoot me for that. But if you've seen the recent upcoming Game Freak game that isn't Pokemon, you can tell, holy mother of crap, that's way better than Scarlet and Violet. And again, I'm not trying to put down Scarlet and Violet because I actually do love the games, but even I can't deny, like, even in my review of Scarlet and Violet, it's very glitchy. Like, there is a lot of bugs. Heck, even on my one of my second channels, Gear They, I show a crazy glitch where my avatar falls out of the world. So that's a big problem. And it's a very serious situation and stuff. Not to mention, like, it is coming to a point where I'm kind of growing up in some way. Like, I don't know if I'm going to continue having fun with the series as much as I can when it comes to video games and stuff. And there is going to be a new generation that will take over, but I'm kind of worried for that new generation because sooner or later, and it definitely is going to be later. I 100% say later, not sooner, but hey, that's on your opinion because we both agree either way that sooner or later this series is going to finally hit a rock bottom no matter what. No matter the merchandising or whatever, it's going to hit a rock bottom and there's nothing no one can stop that of. Um, the second thing I want to talk about, though, and probably what's even worse, is the fandom right now. And okay, to be fair, it's not all away the fandom because really there's more than just that's going on. But the outside forces of the video game series itself is really concerning. And no, it's not just because the fandom is bickering back and forth of which Pokemon game is better or literally down each other's throats, which is hard to get into the fan base because of that. Because I feel like every fan base does that too, by the way. Like nowadays, it feels like you should just like a series outside of a fan base to just enjoy yourself because it's like yeah, that's not to say not every person who likes Pokemon is a bad person. It's just there are some fandoms that goes way too extremes, and I feel like Pokemon is one of those. Although it feels like more so that they're eating each other alive, per se. And there's a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of bad apples in the fan base. There is a lot of misinformation in the fan base, and there are a lot of opinions in the fan base. There's a lot of people not like agreeing with some opinions that okay, if the opinion is bad, then that makes sense to disagree on it. But if the opinion is like, oh, this game's better than this, or like for example, if someone just likes Pokemon Sword and Shield and you just dog on them because of that, that is when it's like, oh boy. And of course, I may not be doing a good job explaining it, but the best way to put it is the fandom has been down each other's throats and eat each other alive because no one could at least to learn to agree to disagree. And, you know, I had this kind of experience before myself, actually. So, like, literally, I actually did have this experience before, like, a couple of years ago. And what I learned from that experience is, it's hard to have an opinion sometimes, especially if you don't get your opinion right or your opinion is kind of, which I'll admit, there was a few oopsies on my end on that attraction, and I'll admit to that. Um, and I don't think it was oopsies, but to be fair, I I really don't care if I'm outcast of Pokemon, but it does suck to be kind of that. But it's okay because I just learned from that thing is, hey, you have to it's a whole story, but you have to learn to agree to disagree, and that doesn't mean you can still enjoy the games. You don't have to be part of a fan base to enjoy your video games. I am super casual. I'm a casual video game person. That doesn't mean I don't see the problems in video games right now, but I'm super casual because admittedly I'm more focused on life and all that gobbledygoo. Like I don't have time to really get into nitty gritty of that. It's kind of actually also why I no longer make videos involving Pokemon theories and stuff. Because it's not only because I'll admit it's because I'm worried about my opinions being blasted at or anything, or my ideas or theories. It's also really I don't have much time to do it. I have more important things to do. I have a job. I have to worry about life and stuff. I want to enjoy my life. And to be fair, that doesn't mean I think the Pokemon fan base is fully bad. Like I said, it's just bad apples in that fan base. I just feel like both are at war with each other and eat each other alive, and it's not good. It's not very good in a general sense and stuff. And trust me, it's a whole can of worms. It's like that. But then, of course, there's the other problems that isn't even involved with the fanverse. Though it could also be related depending on what you say. I admittedly say it's probably part of the fanverse, but I'm willing to admit it probably is also wrong. And that is the recent stuff that has been kind of been discussed about it. The biggest one, which admittedly should not be happening, which really understandably, I talked about this before, I think, but if I haven't, I'll just make this crystal clear. Yeah, I do not like the scapoling crap. The scapoling crap is bullshit. I mean, it's even hard to say if those are even fans at all. They're just people who are buying up shit to sell it on eBay for more the price, or like thousands of bucks for a cardboard. Like, and don't get it twisted. I started, believe it or not, I really did start Pokemon on the trading card game. Literally the trading card game before the actual video games. Which is weird and probably explains more so why I'm a casual fan. But at the end of the day, even though I love my cards and I'm definitely going to keep them until the end of time, I know good and well that those cards are just it. They're cards. They're just freaking cardboard. They're cardboard. And I know it's not just the Pokemon CTG. There's other CTGs that are suffering from the same issue. Weirdly, I think Magic the Gathering got in some controversy with this thing or something like that. I don't know the whole details, but for the most part, Pokemon seems to be the main target. And it's not, of course, just the CTG. It's also the other stuff. But at the end of the day, they're just, not only are you robbing children from their childhood, which is just general. There's not a whole lot to say. It is just what it is. It's a fucked up thing that you're stealing childhood from children because they can't afford it, nor their parents. But in the end of the day, you're just selling cotton and freaking cardboard. They're not freaking gold. It's not like the stock market at all. Like, literally, it's just messed up in all ways because many people are like, oh my god, it's the Holy Grail Prism, whatever the fuck that last one was called, and stuff. And I'm like, not only that you're just praising over stupid cardboard, but also the fact of the matter is, it's gotten so bad that even ironically, which I theorized this, even Nintendo slash Game Freak capitalized on this thing, where they made a app of Pokemon CTG Pocket. Like, I literally have a funny theory that they only did that because they got tired of the scabbling, but then they realized, oh shoot, we can actually take advantage of this and make a video game where you don't have to worry about scabblers stealing your freaking cards. That's literally it. That's my like theory, and of course I'm probably explaining it in a wacky way, but it just shows how bad it is. And it's like, and again, it's not just the cards, but it really just begged the question, what the fuck, dude? Like, really? And hopefully your investment goes well because obviously they're falling down the drain. And it's not just because really it's because no one is trying to buy from you. It's also because, again, you're thinking freaking cardboard is the stock market. That is the most dumbest thing ever. And it really just boils down to how bad it is. It's kind of funny because I haven't even collected, as many people will also know, I haven't even opened a box recently of Pokemon at all. And not even just recently, it's just been years now, I think, and stuff. And look, I am still happy that I even got like a gold card, and this is true. I actually did get a gold card. Um, but in the end of the day, it's not even gold. It's just a freaking cardboard with gold spray painted on it. It's not a big deal, to say the least. And there's some other problems as well, such as the fact of how people are worried about the recent rise of the Rule 64 stuff involving Pokemon, which I don't know where that's coming from. I'll admit I'm not one to talk because truly talk because I actually do make fan fictions, of course, of that. Believe it or not. In fact, I'm working on a chapter right now as part of it. But again, like I said, people are allowed to like things if it's not harming everyone, to say the least. And all they're just doing is making art, and that's it. Though I can see why people are a little bit with that thing. Like, that's always been a case. Trust me, I've seen it before because I literally used to run a Five Nights at Anime channel. I had to delete that because people were harassing me, and I almost could have lost all three of my channels because of copyright strikes. This is a real thing. So, trust me, I can kind of see where some people are coming from, but others are like, including myself, I like, we'll just make what we can make and deal with it. Like, not every not safe for work artist is crazy. Just saying, and it's very weird. It's a very weird spot. I have not much to say because obviously I have admitted to even made not safe for work Pokemon art, which really I need to get back to it honestly. But I can still see. I mean, to be fair, I can also agree, and let's just be right out the gate with this. Literally, at this point, freaking Game Freak just made a sex doll, that being a real life size plushie of a Gardevoir. Yeah, sure, they're just going to collect that thing. No, they're just going to use it as a sex toy. That's literally what that thing is, honestly. So, there's that issue and stuff. And we can keep going on. There's even stuff that I admit that I am grasping straws here because I don't know. But it kind of gets to my point because it's like, holy fuck, there's a lot of negativity. And of course, a lot of depression. And again, I try not to use negativity that much, or I wouldn't say negativity because that might be extreme. But it really just feels like downright depressing and stuff. And I mean, there is quality. There still is good with Pokemon right now. Like, again, Pokemon ZA is looking pretty good, although I do understand there's a lot of worries about that. And hopefully, they'll go into much more details in um the next week's the next week's Pokemon Presents, because really I feel like they need to go into details alongside also Pokemon Champions, because I've been waiting for that to see how good that will be. But in short, yeah, it's a pretty thing. Now, my personal thought and what I feel. Like I said, I'm definitely never quitting Pokemon, truly, because I love Pokemon no matter what. However, there will be a point of time where I have to somewhat retire from playing the video games. Because again, I'm more focused on, real life and stuff. And it's sad, I know, but I think it comes to the point where people just. I sort of hinted this from the previous video when I guess we were talking about the whole Switch selling thing. People just need to grow up. Like, in the end of the day, what is this? Just pixels, a video game, cardboard, cotton, which if you haven't got by now, I'm talking about the plushies, like, and a few other things. Like, at the end of the day, this was made for children, at the end of the day. Sure, adults can enjoy it too. I mean, be fair, they're not the only series. And to be fair, that's the point. Pokemon is made for everyone. But there has been a point where you have to realize that it's mainly geared towards children. And we got at least try our best to let the new generation come over and, easily take over that of the new Pokemon games and stuff, because they are not coming in here to care about graphics and stuff, or if there's going to be, if your favorite Pokemon is going to be playable, or if the training card is worth $1 million because you confuse it with the stock market or some bullshit. No, they're just coming in here to have fun, and I believe it's best we try to set an example of that, to say the least. I admit, like I said, I'm the one to talk since I have, like I said, I have a very past on this channel involving that. But I think it comes to the point after that incident and doing some thought process. I just learned that, like I said, I just learned that I need to just play the games by myself and love the thing by myself. I don't need to be part of a fan base to love Pokemon. But also, number two, and I know I repeat this before, but it kind of, something I learned through, ironically, not only that experience, but many other experience because of a certain person who told me this. I just need to live life to the fullest. I need to literally just go out and live my life. I need to focus on my job. I need to focus on stuff I love without the negativity or depression or any bullshit. Like, because that's what I am. I'm growing up. I'm maturing. And I feel like that's something that really a lot of people need. And it's not even just Pokemon. There's a lot of not only fan base but general people who needs to just learn to grow up. Just need to grow up and, live life to the fullest is the best way to say it. And like I said, if you love Pokemon and you're getting bummed down by all this depression thing, my suggestion is that, like, not only just try to focus on enjoying and looking at the positives of Pokemon, without trying to go into a fan base, because you don't always need a fan base to be into Pokemon. You can enjoy Pokemon with friends, to say the least, but you don't need to be in a whole entire fan base to enjoy a video game, and not just Pokemon, but in a video game. But also, just try to focus on your life. Let's try to, focus on what is needed. Like, try to find yourself. That's what I learned to do, and it worked. It worked. Now, did it work the way I think that person wanted me to work it? Probably not, but it still worked. Like I said, I was able to make Candy Cat Girl channel, and it did bombed after I had to delete it, but in the end that actually taught me a lot, and I focused on what I loved in that point. which admittedly was Five Nights at Freddy's. That's why I made the channel in the first place. But also, even outside, I was starting to focus on myself. I was trying to look at my life and stuff and try to fix myself in the best way possible. And you can see, while I still got a long way to go, that's why. And I think that's kind of the reason why I made this video. Alongside the fact that, yeah, the Pokemon, I don't know, like, I am wondering what the future holds for this game series. Because again, even though I do believe later, we can both agree that sooner or later it's going to crash and burn into rock bottom. There's nothing about it. And we're just going to have to accept it. And hopefully the new generation will hopefully learn from our mistakes and stuff and try to enjoy Pokemon without our mistakes ruining it. Anyways, this has been Floxcat, snapping out of here. Bye-bye.